Hi everybody, I want to welcome you once again to my YouTube channel. In this series, what we're going to be doing is continuing off of the video series that I just released here for the Commodore 64 game project and show you how to write the code inside of the actual CBM PRG Studio editor, where you'll be able to actually see some tricks like tweaking the code and stuff like that, just so you can kind of learn from it from a simulators perspective. Hello everybody, I'd like to thank you for joining me today, and what we're going to be learning here today is how to go to the GitHub site to see where the zip file is for the CBM PRG Studio that you're going to use for video 1, and then once we have that downloaded, we're going to go into CBM PRG Studio and we're going to open that project, and once we have it open from there, I'm going to run it and demonstrate it to you, and then after that I can kind of show you how to tweak it and kind of make it your own. And maybe if we have time in this video and it's not too long, I'll show you how to go ahead and add some of the subcryst maps as well from Char Pad. Okay, so you'll join me here. We're on the GitHub page and you'll see everything here from scene 1 to scene 3. These are the progression stages I had when I demonstrated the first video I showed to you. And from here, we're going to go to scene 3. This is what includes all our projects. Now also just for extra information here, you can look down here and you'll see I have also, this is the Char Pad file here, and this is actually the PowerPoint presentation you've seen from the first video. So if you want to see it in its entirety, you can get it right there instead of having to stop and pause the video all the way through, and you can download it. But for now, we're going to go into scene 3, and you're going to see here's all the files that is included for video 1, and then we're going to go ahead and click on this zip file here. This is our CBM PRG Studio. And we're just going to download it here off to the right with our button. And you'll see it download here at the bottom. Next, I'm going to minimize this. It'll take us to CBM PRG Studio where we'll go ahead and take the next stage, which is opening up of our project. We're going to go to Open Project, and I know where it's located, so I have mine stored here. Now, you'll need to go ahead and once you install the zip file, create it and place it in a folder like I did right here. Once you have it in a folder, you can break it down however you want. I have these broken down into scenes, but however you want to do it, I just did mine as scene. And this is the first project right here for video 1. Now it'll load in here. And from here, you always want to make sure main.asm is the first one that you're running from. If you try to run from any of these, for example, just for example, you won't be able to. You'll get an error here eventually. This one probably just timed out. Okay. I'll go back to main here and I'll run it. And you'll see it load up there. And there's our first demonstration map. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to divide these windows into 2 to kind of put one on one side and one on the other side to show you we're going to start having some fun with this now and kind of tweaking it. What we do just to kind of go through each of them here, this is the main.asm. You'll see the variables as I demonstrated in the video. There's the kickstart loader. Right? Here's where we were doing the banking of the video memory. So if you wanted to change out your own banks, you can change these bits to do so. And the next section here is where we load and possess the ROM. So there's ROM memory hidden that we are now going to take control over to basically expand the graphics capability for our project. And then here you saw demonstrated these are where it's copying the ROM over so that we can use that memory space. Basically, it's copying our map to that area. And from here, this is where the multicolor is stored for our character. And this is the map position as I demonstrated in the video here. This is the section that allows you to position the map. So if we change these coordinates, it'll change our map location. Down below here, these are some screen controls to get it to display. The border color, of course, and this is our multicolor control. And this down here is pointing to the right character set. For this video file, it's only using one character set, but as you go on to video 2 and others, you'll notice that I'm going to have more ways of doing this. So we'll have a screen 1 and a screen 2 and so on, and eventually we may have more character sets. And then this just runs in a loop, and of course these are the Inc. ASM files that allow us to access our assembly files directly inside the project. Since if you're at main, it can't see all these other folders. You have to be able to access them with references. And I did mention, I missed it up here, but at the top here, these are where I stored the other ones. So now we're going to go back, as I mentioned here, and we're going to go ahead and tweak those X and Y coordinates. You'll notice I have it set to 0 and 9, so that means the map is flush all the way to the left here, and it's down 9 tiles. So if you're counting from the map here, it would count over, it would basically be at 0 here, and it just counts down 9. So if we set this, I believe, to 0, 0, it should be the upper left-hand corner if I've done this correctly. We'll run it and see. And there we have it. That's the upper left-hand corner of my map. So I know the furthest corner of my map is 100 and the bottom part is 49. Let's test that and see what it does. If it takes us to a stranger, it means we may have went too far, but we'll test it. See if this is going to be the bottom right-hand corner of the map. Yep, it's a little bit off. Here's the bottom. So essentially, we may need to set this up like 45 or something because now it's going into some other memory here. So remember, we're just playing with this project. So we're going to go ahead and run again and see what we get. And there we have it. You can still see I had some other graphics in here. And remember, this one is the 100 is the X position of the map, and the 45 is the Y. So if I set that to like 40 or something, I think that might give us inside of the barriers of our actual map. Let's see what we get this time. There we go. Now it looks kind of like a normal map here. So each map screen is also 10 tiles in width. So if we add this to like 50 on this one, oh, excuse me, the 100 is the X, 40 is the down. So 100. So let's, in this case, so we're 100 tiles all the way over in the corner. So what we do is we'll set it to 10 and 40. So at the bottom and kind of 10 tiles over from the corner there. We'll run that again just to show you again. You can see it's picking up different scenes of the map. And eventually in video 2, we'll see it scrolling. But this is just showing you the best way I can to kind of move it around without seeing anything else. Okay. So we could play with that all day. If you wanted to change the colors, they're all in here, the border colors here. The character set colors are actually right here. But these are actually going to, I think these are already read in from the actual binary file, so we might not be able to override these. But let me just see if I can. For example, if I set this to color, and it should pick up, it's not picking up the other one. I'm going to try green here for a minute and see if it changes anything. If not, they're preset by the actual Char Pad. Oh, actually it did. So it changed it to like a different color here. So it is actually working here. So we could change this brown to something like red or something. We're just playing with stuff here, just to show you what you can do with the actual project. So see how we're changing the multicolors now. It's got some red in here and it's got some green in here. So these aren't the prettiest colors, of course, but I'm just showing you what you can do with it. Let's see. There's also, I believe I think yellow would be too bright. Let's try blue just to see what we get here. Yep, there you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and default these back to the way they were just by undoing some stuff here. Kind of put it back the way it was. There we go. Okay. But you can see we're definitely controlling the map and changing it. Okay. Now in here, each of these are the actual files, right? We went over the macros when we first looked at the video 1, right? Nothing we're going to really do in there. Then we got the game routines over here. And this is the copying of the map. Essentially, you wouldn't really want to change this unless you want to point to another character set. But it's best to leave it the way it is. This is our screen memory. This is where it's basically drawing the tiles on the screen. So again, you wouldn't want to alter this. And as I mentioned in the actual video, this is where the tables are pulling that data from. The high and the low bytes and the color memory and everything is down here below. And then we also got the start level, which you'll see this is where it actually loads the tiles on the screen. Now, if you were really good, you could actually tweak this to set like a 2x2 map and whatever kind of maps you're doing with Char Pad. And this is essentially where we would be loading in that data and everything. We're not going to go into it, so you probably won't have a whole lot of time into it. But you can see right here, this is exactly as I showed in video 1. This is the compare 10. So this is reading those 10 tiles from here all the way across the screen. So there's 10 tiles right there, right? And then you can see there's 5 here, where this is just basically drawing these smaller tiles side by side. And down here you got the draw tile, as I demonstrated here. And down here is the 15. So this basically takes it from the top to the bottom to create all the 15 and so on. So if you wanted to, if the code's there, you can tweak it. But just wanted to show you that's how that's working. Okay, so what we're going to do now is, I mentioned, I'd like to go into, for the time we have here, and try to create our own. Let's go ahead and just pull one from Subchris, for example, and then we're going to try to add it to this project. Now, there's going to be a little bit of work to do this. In order to do this, you're going to need to download from their website the Char Pad. And I'll just demonstrate in a quick video link here, since I didn't have mine open already. I'm just going to say C64 Char Pad download to get us right where we need to go. Right here, Subchris. And then you can download it right here. And I'll just open up mine since mine is right here. And I already have my other maps to open here, I see. So what we'll do is we'll open up a new copy of this if it'll let me here. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and go to the example projects that Subchris has. And here's some of the different ones we could go through, like here's a forest one, for example. We could add this to our project if we wanted to. Any of these could be added. Now they have to be the 4x4s. The 4x4s are the ones that actually work directly with our project as we have it coded. There's some rips here we could look at too, and you can see there's some 4x4s here: Monster and Mayhem, Meta Warrior, Robocop, Turrican. Maybe we'll try Robocop. I know I tried this one before and it didn't really do me justice, but let's see what it looks like. Here's Robocop. Right here is the width is oh, I'm sorry, this is 40 by 10. I'm looking actually at the tile set. So it's 40 characters over, and it's only 10 down, so it's not really that big. But we could probably load this one in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a series here and show you how to go ahead and add this, see if we can add this to our project. So we're going to go to Import. We're going to go to Binary, and we're going to export the map first. Now, I know I don't have a place here yet for it, so I'm going to need to create an area here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to locate and go to my C drive here for a minute. And since I don't have a project here created for it yet, I'm going to go ahead and create an area where we can access these tiles. And let's see here, I'm just going to call this one Robocop Char Pad or something, just something simple. Actually, is that Robocop 2? I don't know which one this is. Robocop Char Pad is good, so I know what it is. So there we go, Robocop Char Pad, and we know this is our map file, so I'm just going to call it map. I just named mine 1 because if I do 2, 3, and so on, I know which started with what. So map1.bin, this is the binary file, and make sure we have the folder stored so we know where it is. And then we're going to keep repeating this process: file, import, export, binary, and then we're going to go to our tile set next. And we're going to call that tileset1.bin. And you see it's in the Robocop folder. And then next we're going to go to import binary, and then we're going to go to our character set attributes, chset. I always call mine a trib1. And I'll show you something with the attributes here in a minute. I just don't want to lose my thought process. Import, export binary, and then we're going to go to the character set, and I just call that with chset1. So you can see them all right here. Now, the one I showed you on the attributes, these are actually known as the materials in Char Pad, and these materials can be used to detect collisions on a map. So, for example, somewhere in this map, if we wanted to grab one of these tiles, for example, here, we'll just take this one. Let's say we wanted to do something down here, and we wanted to make a collision or something. We could go ahead and we could add it into our map. And what I need to do is actually I need to set the map here first, like that. And then we could just pick one of these and just override it, for example, like that. Let's say if that were some other character, we bumped into this character, we could do something with it. These are the tile editors. These are the tiles from left to right and top to bottom. And there's 16 total tiles here. You notice that these are also got their own little pixels in here. You'll see that there's 4 here, and there's 8, I believe 8 going down. And this is our 4x4 tile set, because there's 4 here and 4 there going down, right? Okay, and these are the tile sets. These are those little graphics that we place on our map, of course. And these are the actual character set. Now this takes a little bit more work, but you can design your own characters just by clicking on a tile here. And you can just go ahead and start altering it here. I'll actually just create a new one here. So we'll go to File, New Project. there's going to be a series of steps to do this. So we're going to call this one our RoboCop map example or something, just something simple, right? We're going to go to next, and we're just going to create it. It's going to create our map for us, our project. And now we're going to need to import these files in. So I'm going to go to assembly files. We're going to right click on assembly files, go to add existing file, and we're going to need to look for those files from our scene 1 project, which is stored right here. Oh, sorry, scene 3, excuse me. And we want to copy all these in. I'll try to copy in this one, but it may not. And actually, we don't need that one because we're not doing that one. So we're only going to need those for our regular map that we already have designed. And we're going to now alter those binary files at the bottom here. Go down here to the bottom. This is where our binary files I was explaining in video 1 are at. So this is our character. You can see our CH set, the one we saved earlier. We can just quickly alter that and alter the path here. And then this is our map. Again, we can alter that. This is our character set attributes right here. And this is our tile set, and we can alter that. Now, in order to do this, what I usually like to do is pull somewhere up here an extra folder that actually has the location of where that RoboCop thing is. And then we're going to go from there and get them into our project here. So I know that these are stored right here. And I created the RoboCop right here, so you can see all 3 of them right here. So the path I'm going to need here is this one. I'm just going to minimize this for a little bit here so I can, and we can just close this one out, so I can see this as I do this. Now you can see it real time here, right? You can see that the path is right here that we stored it under. We stored it under C64 RoboCop Char Pad. The only example though here is, well, this is the same map, I believe. So let me see here. Yeah, because we saved it and we ran it here as C64 Brain Projects 2. Okay, so this one we're going to have to copy this tile set. Maybe have to copy the tiles over or something like this. Because I didn't copy them into this one right here, and this is where we just created this map, so it's not going to see this tile set. So we're going to need to actually copy all these and move them over to the right area. Sorry about that, guys. So you can see down here, CBMP Studio will always tell you C64 Brain Projects 2, RoboCop map example. It's exactly where we need to keep these files at. Because you know that this is C64, which we have here, but this is in C64 Brain Projects 2, which is this one. And then as we look down here, we'll see a RoboCop map example, which is right here. And that's where we created our original one. We're just going to copy those in so it can now see these binary files inside of our project. We have to do some renaming here. So where it shows ink bin, we're going to take this out, the first part, and we're going to name it RoboCop map example because that's the name of the folder, right? RoboCop map example. And then from here, this is going to be, this is our CH set. So I'm just going to back this out here a little bit because we really need to go back a little bit there. And this is a lowercase c, like that. And we know it's 1. It's pointing to this one right here, right? And what I usually do is something like this to make it save time. I usually copy it like this. And then I go through the actual project files and just start copying them and just quickly renaming them. So we'll do this one. This is our map. Now all we have to do is go back here and just put this in as map. And do the same thing on this one for our color attributes. And we'll change this one to our CH set attrib 1, which is this one right here. And then the bottom one, replace that. And again on this one, this is our tile set 1. Whoops, tile set 1. We're going to say tile set 1 there. If I've done this correctly, it should see these. If not, we'll probably get an error, but let's see what we've done here. Okay, now this has been an issue with CBM PRG Studio. Preprocessor error. I've not been able to identify exactly what's going on with it. So what I usually do is I close out the project, make sure it's saved first. And I close it out. It may be that I need a different version to run it from. I'm just going to reopen it, and then we're going to look for the RoboCop map example one and run it from there. It should load it right here at the top. There we go. And now we'll go ahead and hopefully when we run this, it'll work if it found the files correctly. Okay, you can see we have some errors here, but this is good. This is how we're learning, right? So what this is telling us is these files are not being found. CSAT1 bin, so it's not finding any of these. So we may have messed up on our path somewhere here. And I always like to double check to make sure that I'm reading the folder correctly. So I usually expand this a little bit more like that so we can see this, and then we can see the full path here. You look over here, C64, Brain Projects 2, Robocop map example, and it's pointing to all these, which is where our binary files are. So now we want to go here and just look and see. I think I might know what it is. I might be missing the path at the beginning here. Easy mistake. I know I've done this before. I'm going to double check the spelling too. Robocop map example. It's not example 1 or anything. It is map1.bin. Yep, everything else is there. This is where it can get tedious sometimes because you're trying to get, you got to be able to locate these files, or otherwise it's not going to see them in the main project. Okay, so we have a little bit of work here. So it's probably not the path. I know what it is. It's probably because I'm trying to read it from a folder. Originally, I did the other one in a folder, which is a good example to get into, and I didn't put this one in a folder, so we didn't need this first path. But I'm going to create the folder here anyway, and then we'll move the files over. So we'll actually just call this one Robocop, like that. Okay, there they all are. Now let's just open CBMPRG Studio back up. Now the map, we have to alter it also because it was different size as we saw earlier in our map example here. It's 40 by 10, so we'll have to do some changes here. I'm going to give it our best shot though, right? So we're going to delete this. And down here, I'm going to do the same thing for all these, because we're keeping it to that folder name, which we created was Robocop here, which is inside of our main directory. Like that. And we'll do the same thing on the last part here, like that. So now it's pointing at the Robocop folder. Inside of these, it's got our essential files. So let's go ahead and run it. Actually, before we run it, let's, before I forget, let's relocate our map size, which is only 10. And there's an area here where you learned from video 1 called add pointer that tells you how big the map is in width here. So in order to do this, we can just change that to 10. It's 40 by 10. Height is 40. So then we're going to change this one to 40. So now we know it's 40 width. We know the map going down is only 10. And earlier we had the other one set to 15. So down here, we're going to change that one, I believe it's this one right here, to our 10. And we have our other one set to 40, right? We may get some funny results, but we'll load it in and see what happens here. So I'm missing the H here, and I'm missing the H here. I had C set for some reason. You got some data, but like what's going on with it? What's going on right now is our map, remember earlier, was 100 by 49, but this one is shrunken down more, so it's not able to read the data properly. So we have to format some of our code in order to do this. Our start level that reads our map in memory here, but you can see this is set to 100, but remember our map originally was only 40 tiles in width, right? So we need to actually go ahead and start altering these. What I usually like to do is get a calculator and just start calculating from there. If you wanted to do it yourself, I'm going to set this to standard. And from here, we can start calculating. We know this one's going to be 80, right? Because it's just going down the screen. And from here, we can just do on a simultaneous calculation. So we'll say 80 plus 40. Yeah, it's going to be 40 each time because it's keeping track. This is keeping track of how far the map is going over. 80 plus 40 is 120. And then we can keep calculating down here. And then here, if I hit equals, I think it would go to the next one. Yeah, this calculator is pretty cool. And it'll keep giving us those 40 increments as we go down through the map. Okay. Now that we have some data to work with, I think I'll do one to be extra, to be on the safe side here. This is drawing that map from top to bottom so we can see it. We shouldn't have to worry about the rest because our map is only so big anyway. We'll go ahead and run it again and see what we get. Although I did forget one other thing here. Okay. What I forgot to do also is I forgot to do the high bytes. First we're doing the low bytes and then we do the high bytes. So down here, and I could just kind of section this off like that. We're going to copy these over and we're going to move these into the high bytes area so that we're doing both sides of the map, which is right here. So we go down to, what does it break off at, 1200? 1200. And we'll have to change this to the greater sign because we are now reading the high bytes. Greater. Okay, now let's go ahead and go back to main and run this. You can see the map is loaded up on the screen here and it now looks kind of normal. And I'm saying kind of because you're seeing this bottom part here, but we are actually reading in 10 tiles going down here. But the problem is the background area is not cleared, so you're going to get some garbage data in here. So originally in my project later, I'll teach you about clearing the screen, and you can clear the screen here to get rid of the background data. And you can definitely see the similarity going on between them. And there's the stairs and everything too here. This is actually pointing over here at this side. That's why you're not seeing all these over here. This would have to be done with the scrolling example. So if this were a scrolling map, I could show you maybe even later how to scroll through this map. What I had to do is I had to tweak a few different things in here in order to get this to work properly here. I went back into the project here and I had to go ahead and start adding more of these to make sure that I was reading the map properly. And then I just went back up here and I expanded this is basically the vertical going down the screen here, and I changed this to 14. Originally, I could set it to 12, and that's fine too. Either one does it. That controls where the map is being drawn at. So right here it goes from, I believe it's 0 to 12. And then from here it's going to go from 0 to 9 or 10 or whatever there. Now this first part here, as I showed you earlier, this is what's going to say what's being seen on the map at any given time. And if we change this, we could actually make it scroll through to see more of the map. We know it's 40 over, right? So let's change this to like 10, for example. And since this, well, we'll leave it at 0 because we couldn't really shift it down because it's not, the map only goes down 10 tiles. So we're not going to alter the Y. We're just going to shift that and run it again and watch the map, see how it changes here. And you'll see how it's now showing different parts of the map here. You can see now it's kind of pointing over to a different area of the map. It's scrolled over a little bit more. So that's how you can see more and more of the map just by changing this area around here until we get to the far side of the map, of course. And again, essentially you can make your own projects this way. That's the whole purpose of creating this video for you. And there's one more left to go, which would be 40, which would be all the way over the edge of the map. If we go off too far, you'll see garbage because there's nothing existing in those memory areas. And there we go. Again, we can compare that. Go back to our Char Pad, and you can see it right here, for example. What it's doing is it's now over in this corner here, although it's only reading the 2 here, so it's really not reading this one per se. But we might be able to add an extra one on here. I notice it's 40 over, but I only had it set to 40. Actually, all we have to do really is just change this one. Let's try like 42 and see what it does, just to kind of learn from it. There we go. Looks like it picked up more of the map now. So now if we look at it and compare it, you'll see now it's a little bit bigger than I thought it was actually. This one says it's 40 and it's a height of 10. but these should be reading tile by tile. But let's change this to 50 and see what we get there. Just curious now to see if it goes off the screen or not. We're just having some fun here with it. Yeah, apparently it still seems to be reading the map properly each time. Now I can scroll over here a little bit. Whoops. To get to the edge of the map here, and we'll scroll it over, and you'll see this is the corner that we're talking about. So it's somewhere around right here now, because I see the light right there, for example. Am I scrolled up? I am scrolled up here. And I see this light over here. Trying to figure out where it is in the map here, but you can see my point I'm making here. Looks like it's pointing down here, actually. Maybe? Oh no, there's a barrel up here. I don't see one there. Could be how it's reading the map too, but you can see that's how you can kind of move the map around and stuff like that. And it could be scrolled in something. So maybe in the next example, I'll show you how to scroll it, like I said. But this is just, I hope you enjoyed this series. This is just showing you how to be able to, first of all, load in the main project and get it running from GitHub there. And then after that, we demonstrated how to go ahead and start visualizing different parts of the screen by changing those X and Y parameters and that get embedded into our draw map subroutine. And then, of course, we also went into Char Pad and we created those binary files, which are those map chset tile set at chset attribute files. So we could also go ahead and run and see a different example of a map. And I chose Robocop since it's a 4x4 map, and I just thought it would be interesting. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little example. Hey guys, I want to thank you for watching this series. I hope you enjoyed learning how to go ahead and just kind of manipulate the code in the Commodore 64 game project for the video 1 here. In the first series, we obviously went over reviewing the actual original project code and just kind of moved the map around a little bit. Then after that, we kind of came up with an example in Char Pad and used the Robocop binary files to go ahead and kind of edit that one. So feel free to go ahead and edit these files, and they will be accessible on GitHub, where you can go ahead, download the project, and tweak it for your own use. And I appreciate all the subscription as always, and thanks guys so much for this series. And if you want to leave comments on the page, that's fine, but I will see you on the Facebook page for your real questions to your answers for game design or whatever.